Welcome to Section 5, the final section of this course. In this video we're going to look at the HTML templating engine that comes with Underscore. This lets you take a template and combine it with some data to produce HTML to display to the user. It's an alternative to manipulating the DOM as we have been up to this point, which helps separate our concerns and keeps our code neat. So here's the ISS flyovers app we've been working on. This time we're not going to add any functionality, but instead we're going to make it a bit prettier by changing the HTML we use to display the entries. The entries for the days are looking a bit plain at the moment. Since we're using the Bootstrap CSS framework, we might as well use a component from that to make them look nicer. Let's use the panel component from Bootstrap. We'll use a panel for each day with the date as the title. Then we can use the list group component for the actual flyovers. Of course you could do some custom CSS here if you've got a little bit more time and make it look much nicer, but this will do for now. Right now we're looping over the days, and for each day we loop over the flyovers and use this output flyover function to generate the HTML for each of those flyovers. Now we could just modify this code to output the extra markup, but it's going to get messy pretty fast. I'm going to comment out this code for now and we'll build a replacement for it. So let's make a template we can use instead. I create a template using the underscore template method. I'm going to create a very simple template first, just so we can see how they work, then we can extend it later. Underscore.js uses a simple templating language. We write normal HTML in here, but we can add this special tag and put JavaScript code inside it. Now dayTemplate is holding a compiled template which we can use just like a function. You pass in data and it gives back HTML. So let's call this template here and attach the resulting HTML to the DOM. We're passing in the day which we used in the little template we wrote above. Right now this isn't doing much, but bear with me. Let's just check it's working so far. So we now have it outputting the headings and using the template, but of course we're not outputting the flyovers right now, so let's fix that. I want to add more to the template, but if I do that I'll have exactly the same issue as I had when I was manually putting together the HTML. It'll just get messy. What we really want is to split the template off, so it's not just stuck in the middle of the code. So here's a way to put a template into the index file along with the rest of the HTML. What we do is we create a script tag, and we give it a type of text/template. This tells the browser that it's not JavaScript, so it won't try to do anything with it by default. I'll give it an ID so we can refer to it later. We can put the template right in here. Now, instead of hard-coding the template here, we use jQuery to grab the contents of the script tag and use that instead. Remember that we set the ID of the script tag to dayTemplate, and we can see that it works just the same with the template in the HTML file as it did before. Let's go make the template a bit more useful. So let's add in the wrapper HTML that we want. So first we're going to have a panel with default style. Now that's going to have a heading, and give it the correct class. Now let's add a panel body below that, and inside that we want a list group. Now inside the list group we want the actual flyovers for the day, but first we need to pass in the flyover data. So let's pass in the flyovers for the day here. We'll call them just flyovers inside the template, so that's all I need to do to pass them in. Back at the template, I now want to loop over the flyovers and output HTML for each one. So I start a JavaScript block, and this time I leave out the equals sign so it won't actually print out anything. Instead I'm going to wrap two of these blocks around an HTML bit. Inside here I'll start the loop. Now I could just use a regular JavaScript for statement, but the really cool thing is that I can use underscore itself inside underscore templates. So I'm actually using the each function. Now I need to add another JavaScript block below to end the loop. I add the closing brace and the closing bracket here. And now between these we can put some HTML that will be repeated for each iteration of the loop. So we output the start time of the flyover, formatting it nicely using the toLocalTimeString method of the JavaScript date object. Now we output the duration, first getting the minutes and now the seconds. Finally, let's output the weather description. Notice how I've used the equals sign in each of these blocks so it outputs whatever the JavaScript expression returns. Now that's looking a lot nicer. In this video we saw how to use Underscore's simple templating facility. There are lots of more advanced templating libraries available, but often underscores is just what's needed. Join me in the next video when we'll look at a totally different way of calling the underscore functions we've seen so far, using something called chaining.